විහිදෙන ජීවිතේ.
Captain of the MT New Diamond vessel brought before court. Varying views from the government faction regarding the price of coconut.
ගැසට් පත්‍රයේ පොඩි ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියෙන බව අපිට ඒක දැනෙනවා.
පොල් ගෙඩි අතට අරගෙන පොල් ගෙඩිය මෙහෙමනම් පොඩි මෙහෙමනම් ලොකුයි. පොඩි එකට 60ක් දෙයි ලොකු එකට 70ක් දෙයි. ඕක මහවැඩක් නෙවෙයි. ඕකට මේ මනින්න සූත්‍රයක් දාන්න ඕනේ.
Narcotic officers arrested for peddling narcotics, further remanded.
Very good afternoon. You're watching Lunchtime News on TV1. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Yuki Poshia, starting off with your local news. The skipper of the distressed MT New Diamond crude oil tanker, Stereo Ilias, was produced at the Colombo Chief Magistrates Court today as per an order given by Colombo Additional Magistrate Priyantha Liyanage on the 17th of September. The MT New Diamond crude oil tanker was transporting 270,000 metric tons of crude oil from the port of Mina Al Ahmadi in Kuwait to the port of Paradip in India when a fire broke out aboard in the eastern seas of Sri Lanka on the 3rd of September 2020 at around 800 hours. On the 17th of September, Deputy Solicitor General Dileep Piris, who represented the Attorney General, stated the captain and the crew of the MT New Diamond had abandoned the ship when the fire broke out while transporting crude oil from Kuwait to India, and their responsible actions resulted in a disastrous situation. The additional magistrate issued summons noting the captain of the MT New Diamond, who was named as a suspect, had failed to cooperate with the ongoing investigations. Now, here are a few views expressed regarding the 20th Amendment to the Constitution in the political arena.
The 20th Amendment is a policy decision of the government. Every faction is bound to work with a proper understanding of its provisions. When the topic is up for discussion, anyone can present suggestions. They can either be accepted or rejected. The 20th Amendment will get passed. Just because the Audit Commission gets cancelled, it doesn't mean that audits don't happen. Either the Auditor General or a reputed audit firm must conduct audits annually. The Parliament Corp Committee can convene anyone based on its reports. The government doesn't need the 20th Amendment to feed the people and to control the cost of living. Now, what have they given priority to under the guise of the 20th Amendment? They are making the necessary provisions to acquire power. This attempt to centralize power around a single person is wrong in our view. We will start a big movement with the people to defeat them.
Now, the mechanism introduced by the government to control the soaring price of coconuts has given a rise to a major debate. Now, those in the governing party have also weighed in on the matter.
There is a separate minister in charge of coconut. It is apt to ask this question from him. These issues crop up from the time to time. Various mechanisms are in place to control the price of coconuts. It is imperative to improve the coconut cultivation. We understand there is an issue with the gazette. We will act to rectify the matter of having to carry a measuring tape to the fair in the future. I do not know how this story was created. There is no need to measure coconut. We can tell whether a coconut is big or small without having to measure it. There is no need of a formula to measure the size of coconuts.
ඕක මහවැඩක් නෙවෙයි. ඕකට මේ මනින්න සූත්‍රයක් දාන්න ඕනේ නෑ. හැබැයි මට එතනදි කියන්න තියෙන්නේ අර හඳේ කතාව තමයි. හඳ පෙන්නුවාම හඳ දිහා බලන්නනේ ඇඟිල්ල දිහා බලන්නේ නැතුව කියලා.
Leader of the opposition, Sajid Premadasa, toured many areas in Polonnaruwa yesterday.
The opposition leader engaged in religious observances in the Parakumba Pirivena in Pulatisigama, Polonnaruwa. Your father rendered a yeoman service to Buddhism in his time. Some of the theorists that were ordained during the time are intellectuals now. The system you introduced at the housing authority was also a success. Through that, the families of many young theorists were able to obtain houses. The Mahasangha invoked blessings on the leader of the opposition by chanting Set Pirit. Thereafter, Opposition Leader Sajid Premdasa engaged in inspection tour to assess the current situation of a Dhamma school building constructed through the Daham Sevana program, which was implemented by him during his tenure as the Minister of Cultural Affairs. The Opposition Leader also planted a sapling at the premises of the temple.
State Minister Janaka Wakumbere engaged in an inspection tour of the Kantali sugar factory yesterday.
The State Minister inspected the current condition of the factory.
After His Excellency President Gotabaya Rajapaksa came into power, his hope was to reopen factories which were shut down. As the Minister of State, he assigned the sugar factories under me through the Gazette. I was told to recommence operations at this factory last week. During the previous regime, a court case was ongoing when the factory was handed over to another company and massive losses were incurred. We hope to recommence operations at the factory and help the people of this area. No, now there is a court case against them. They will solve it among themselves. I am trying to solve the problems of the country.
In some tragic local news, 2 people were killed in a wild elephant attack in the Devagiri area in Galgamua.
A group of people who were returning to their homes after work were attacked by wild elephants at around 6:30 p.m. yesterday. While some of them were unable to run away and escape, 2 people were attacked by the elephants. The 2 victims were residents of Gallava and Nithalava areas. The bodies of the deceased have been placed at the Galgamua Base Hospital.
Now the Gum at the Door-to-Door campaign continued in 3 districts today. Our teams are covering the Colombo, Gampaha and Nuwara districts today. Our team in the Nuwara district will be touring the Bogavan Thalava, Siripura, Aryapura and Norwood areas. They expect to report on the issues faced by the people living in estates. The Gammatha teams covering the Gampaha district visited the Minuwangoda area this morning. Our team reported on the issues faced by the villagers engaged in the manufacture of fancy or decorative items.
This is phase 5 of the Gum at the Door-to-Door initiative, and we are in the Polvat area in Minuwangoda, which is in the Gampaha district. And the communities in this area depend on the clay industry for their daily income. As you can see, the lady behind me, she's making this clay pot. But they have a problem, and the problem is a shortage of raw materials required to make these clay pots. They make water filters and all sorts of other products are produced with these clay items. And also, because of the COVID situation, they are unable to sell what they manufacture. So this is the problem that the people in this area are facing, and we will continue to travel around the Gampaha district today as we document and report on the problems and the issues that the people in these areas face. For News First, I'm Jayana Roger.
The Gammatha team covering the Colombo district visited areas falling under the Hangwala and Kasbaba divisional secretariats this morning. The main grievance raised by the people residing in the Hangwala Minvisituragama area was the lack of water for daily consumption. The residents of this village urged the authorities to expedite a solution for their grievance. In more local news, police have seized a stock of Vallapata plant parts and 46 kilos of amber in the Kapuatta area in Valigama.
The raid was carried out by the STF police in the Kapuatta area in Valigama following a tip-off received by the Sri Lanka Air Force Intelligence Unit. During the raid, the police found the location where the Vallapata plants were stored and the collected oil was refined. A large stock of equipment, including a large white iron boiler used to drill the oil, was also found there. The police also seized 46 kilos of an amber-like substance believed to have been obtained from Wales.
Moving on, the officers of the Narcotics Bureau who were charged with drug trafficking were further remanded till the 12th of October. They have been arrested and remanded on suspicion of drug trafficking along with drug traffickers. Now, among them were 13 suspects, including a police inspector attached to the Narcotics Bureau. A woman possessing 5 grams and 200 milligrams of heroin was arrested by the officers of the Galle Divisional Anti-Corruption Unit in Kandawatha, Galle.
According to the police, the racket had been carried out for a while, targeting school children in the Galle area. Police stated that the apprehended woman had sold a small packet of heroin for 1,000 rupees and a packet of 1 gram for 12,500 rupees. The arrested suspect is a 45-year-old mother of 5 and is to be produced before the Galle Magistrates Court.
The Kahathodu police have arrested a woman who was transporting drugs. The woman was arrested while transporting drugs on a motorcycle in the Hadaliava area in Kahathodu during a search conducted on information received by the police. The police have seized 160 milligrams of drugs in the suspect's possession. According to police, the woman is pregnant. Now, an event on World Tourism Day was held yesterday in Kandy with the participation of the Minister of Tourism and UN Resident Coordinator in Sri Lanka, Hannah Singer, and many other dignitaries.
The theme of this year's event was quote-unquote tourism and rural development. The Minister of Tourism expressed the following views at the National World Tourism Day ceremony.
Everyone engaged in the tourism industry faced grave challenges. As a government, we believe that it is our duty to protect everyone engaged in this field. We expect to deliver all the allowances presented in the Gazette notification to the people. We are all expecting for the airport to be reopened soon. When we take a look at the world, we observe that this is a very dangerous situation. The closest country to us is India. We have to closely observe the situation in India. Therefore, just as we have to involve tourists in our industry, we also have to think about how we could increase the number of local tourists.
The United Nations Resident Coordinator in Sri Lanka, Hannah Singer, expressed the following views at the event.
As we bring the virus under control, there is a risk that these gains could rapidly vanish again as economic growth is pursued with urgency. We must resist the temptation to make nature pay the price of our recovery and instead build back better in a way that makes environment protection the very basis of economic growth. So let me present some of the recommendations of the UN World Tourism Organization for companies. You can develop tourism products and services tailored for customs for domestic income to ensure that everyone in your country can become a tourist. Number 2, it is so critical that we can significantly reduce waste and ensure that any unavoidable waste is utilized to the fullest potential. Number 3, ensure the participation of women, 30% or greater, in decision making and governance at all levels and across all business areas in tourism related cooperation. 4th, to train and recruit and employ from the local community members surrounding the resorts, including those living in poverty, and integrate them in your value chain.
Veteran Sri Lankan actor and comedian Tennyson Kure has passed away while receiving treatment at the National Hospital.
Tennyson Kure is best known for comedy roles in films such as Ray Daniel Damal Miguel, Cherio, Perali Kareo, Somi Boys and Vada Baritasan. Tennyson Kure, aged 68 at the time of his demise, was born in 1952 in Moratuwa and is also known for his stage plays.
Let's now cross
Thank you,
over live
Portia.
to Sasha
One of the
Galvez
world's
for-
oldest conflicts, a territorial dispute between Armenia and Azerbaijan, has re-erupted with the heaviest clashes in years. At least 23 people were reported to have been killed yesterday as the two ex-Soviet republics battled over the Nagorno-Karabakh region. Armenia and
Thank you, Sasha, for that comprehensive roundup. With that, it's a wrap of lunchtime news here on TV1. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Yuki Portia. Take care and good day.